Hello, this is the Eldenwood Craft Podcast. It's Tuesday the 31st of March 2020. My name's Emma and you are very welcome to join me for a chat about all the things I've been making over the last few weeks. How are you? We are living in strange times. It's a Tuesday and I'm recording a podcast, which in itself is strange. But I don't need to tell you what is going on at the moment. Our situation is absolutely fine. My husband's working at home, which is why I'm recording in this room. This is our bedroom. Normally I would record in the craft room, but he's working in the dining room, which is underneath the craft room, and when he's on a call his voice booms through the floorboards somewhat, so I thought I would swap rooms. My daughter is in her room doing homework. She's in sixth form, so she is able to sort of manage her schooling herself, and we'll all be meeting for lunch in about 45 minutes, so I am planning to record quite a short episode today. I have just got a regular day's annual leave today, and I'll be going back to work tomorrow. I work in the NHS, if you don't know, not frontline, but in a supporting role, and so I'm doing some days in the office, some days out of the office, and I've had a couple of days annual leave. I was supposed to be going up to see my mum this weekend and visiting friends and things, but that obviously all got cancelled. So I thought I would take the opportunity to record another podcast. I can't quite remember how long it's been since my last episode, not quite as long as I have been known to leave it in the past. Maybe it's been about 4 to 6 weeks, something like that. Anyway, I hope if you are watching, I hope you are well. I hope you're keeping well. I think this is a really strange situation for us all to be in. I can't think of another situation that would impact so many people around the world in pretty much the same way. All I really want to say is please look after yourselves and your loved ones. If you are working in roles that are key to supporting, what's the best way to describe this? If you're working in a role, in a key role, whether that be within the NHS, working in a supermarket, food delivery, essential goods, post office, pharmacist, and everyone else in between that we really need to keep working to keep the country going, then thank you very much. And for everyone else, please do as the government advises and stay home and look after yourselves. So on to the podcast. What have I got for you today? Well, it'll be another usual type of podcast. I've got some works in progress, some finished objects. I might do acquisitions, although I would like to see, I really would like to keep this in at under half an hour, so we will see, and I might do acquisitions another time. I'm not sure, we'll see. Things to tell you about, a little bit of admin at the beginning. We've got the Eldenwood Craft Make 9 along going on at the moment. We're coming towards the end, or in fact we're right at the very end of the first quarter. So the next time I record I will be announcing the first quarter's prize. I hope you, if you're taking part, and it's not too late to join in, you can join in at any time during the year. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then go and have a look at my podcast. It'll be the first one I recorded this year, so probably end of January, beginning of February, I think it would have been. and that will have all the details. Also, you can find all the details in my Ravelry group, and there is a link to that below. How have I been doing? I've got my picture here of my Make 9. Not so well, really. Unsurprisingly. One of my 9 is Once Again Wonders, and another of my 9s is Brioche. And actually I have got a finished object that combines those squares, which is a little bit of a cheat, and I will be doing another project to ensure that I've got another project to count for that square, if you see what I mean. But anyway, I'll show you that finished object later. But yeah, so it's kind of, unsurprisingly for me, it's going slowly, but I keep thinking about things that I would like to make for my Make 9, so I guess that's a little bit of a focus. In other news, I have got a brand new website, really excitingly. It's I took the decision a little while ago to move my shop away from Etsy, which has been brilliant, but I thought it was about time that I went solo. So I have set up a new shop on a new platform that I am hosting myself, and that's where I will, going forwards, keep all the show notes for the podcast, any news about the shop, and obviously the shop itself. And you can also find their links to all my social media sites. So the new website address is eldenwoodcraft.com, and that will be linked in the show note as well. I still have my old website up and running, and I need to decide what to do with that, but I was really keen to get going with the new site, so I kind of will not be adding anything to the old website, and will be running the new website going forward. So it would be really good if you had a look round, and if you've got any comments on it, let me know. I had an update last night, and my plan with stocking the shop is really just to make things and add them to the shop as I make them. I might have the occasional big update that I announce in advance, but for most of the time I will be making and adding to the shop. So keep looking on the shop if there's anything in particular that you're interested in. Unsurprisingly, all the sheet bags that I had for last night's shop update sold out really quickly. Thank you ever so much. It's really gratifying and heartwarming to know that you're still interested in what I've got to sell. I will be making more sheet bags to go in the shop, so it is worth... Sorry, I'm umming a lot. It is worth checking back in the shop on a regular basis to see if it's been updated. I will, if I have time, show you some bags that are still in the shop at the end of the podcast. Right, I'm going to crack on with some knitting, and we will start with socks. I have got 2 pairs of socks to show you today, one on the go and one finished. So what would you like to see first? The finished ones? Okay, all right, let me show you these. So these I started last year, probably October, November time, and when it came to finishing them off, well, they languished in my project bag. And then after I finished my last pair of socks, which were a Scrappy's pair of socks, I was really keen to get these off the needles, and I absolutely love them. So here they are. Another pair of Scrappy socks, and proof that there are 2. So this is a simple rib. It's a 1, 2, 3 by 1 rib all the way up the foot and the leg. I can't remember off the top of my head whether I knit these. Oh yes, I can actually. I knit these cuff down, and all the yarns, with the exception of the toe, heel and cuff, are Nora George yarns that were in a Christmas Advent calendar probably about 2 or 3 years ago. And I think they work fantastically well together. They're really bright and zingy. I don't think any of them had a name. They might have done, I can't remember. But yeah, I think they work really well. I am really pleased with them. They're really long. I normally knit my socks much shorter, but I think with scrappy socks I have a feeling that they will, when I knit them, they will be much longer, because it's such fun to work on all the different colours. And they're nice and baggy around the leg, so I can scrunch them down. So yeah, so I did well, I didn't have a separate cuff section other than the colour, but it's all a 3x1 rib all the way down. It's a heel flap and gusset, and then just a regular wedge toe. The brown is the gift that keeps on giving. This is the brown that I knit my Waiting for Rain shawl in. It was a yarn that was dyed by Linda at Cinnabar Pink, and if you remember my Waiting for Rain shawl, how lovely and lustrously golden brown that was, it's been a real firm favourite of mine. I've still got a tiny bit left, probably enough for some scrappy toes, I would say, or scrappy heels. So yeah, so that is finished object number 1, or sock number 1. My second sock to show you is one that I cast on a couple of days ago. I was in the mood for something quite straightforward. I didn't fancy winding a skein of yarn, so I had this particular skein. So that, what I'm trying to say is, I am using up a skein of yarn that I used in another project that was already wound. So this is the yarn that I am using. I don't know how well the colours will come out. It's a stranded dye works Fleet Street colourway, which is a really subtly tonal grey with some pops of bright sort of yellow in. Oops. Let me just show you. There's a really nice spot in here somewhere that really shows the yellow as it zings. I don't know if this will show, but just in here you can see the bright yellow. You may not have been able to see that. Anyway, here is the sock that I am knitting. It's a new pattern by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears, and it's her Cronkled socks. And you can see, hopefully, it's a really lovely textured sock pattern. Kay's pattern is for a full-length pair of socks, but I have decided to knit just a pair of shorty socks, so that I could make the most of that that skein of yarn. And it's a really lovely squishy texture. Very easy pattern to remember. It's a 3, 6, 9 row repeat, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm sure it's a 9 row repeat, and it's really easy to remember. As I said, I'm knitting this, unusually for me, on DPNs. These are ChiaoGoo DPNs 2.25 millimeters. Normally I knit my socks on using the magic loop method, but I just had a real urge to try DPNs. I've not used them for a long time, and oops, I've just noticed a couple of drop stitches. Hang on a second. need to rescue these. There we go. So yeah, so I had a bit of an urge to use some DPNs for a change. I'm quite enjoying them. They do make photographing the socks a bit easier because you don't have the loopy cord coming out the end. But yeah, I still think I prefer the magic loop method. But variety is the spice of life, isn't it? And it's nice to do something a little bit different every now and then. So I've done a 10-row rib, 1 repeat of the pattern, and then I went into the heel flap and gusset, and I probably got about another 1.5 inches on the foot until I have to start doing the toe. And I might actually use that brown, the rest of the brown from the scrappy socks that I've just showed you to do the toe. I'm sure many of you have probably knit one of Kay's patterns before. This is my first of her patterns. They're so well written, really detailed. There are video links to some of the techniques that she talks about. So I highly recommend the pattern. I highly recommend the pattern itself because it's a great pattern and it's going to be really lovely and squishy on the feet. But in general, Kay's patterns I think are really good. Particularly if you're quite a new knitter, I would say, given the detail and the way she explains things. So yeah, really loving that. That is sock number 1, and hopefully that will get finished in the next few days. So that's it for socks. I also have a shawl to show you. I'll just reach over and pick that. So this is a finished object that I finished about half an hour ago, literally. Here is the yarn that I have got left. Isn't that beautiful? This is a Biff Sugar Yarns yarn from Alison. It's in the Gone to Earth colourway, and it's an MCN, Merino Cashmere Nylon. I absolutely love this. It's one of my favourite colourways that I have ever knit with. It's that there's so much detail in here, so many different colours, really lovely. So do you want to see how it knits up? Well, let me show you the pattern. I can't remember if I was working on this when I last podcast. I suspect probably not, but it's the Friday Morning Shawl by Kate Atherley. I've got a bit of a dog-eared pattern, but that is what it looks like. It's a fully brioche shawl, and nice sort of one skein wonder, which is where it fits into my Make 9, and this is what it looks like knit up. So isn't that just the most stunning yarn? So it starts off on one end. I can't remember which end it started, it doesn't really matter. Probably this end actually, I think it started. So it is literally brioche all the way. It's an asymmetrical narrow triangle, and it'll be perfect for the winter now that we're moving into spring. It's being brioche, it's beautifully squishy, and it feels really lovely around my neck. This is my first full brioche project. I knit the Stephen West Exploration Station a little while ago, well last year, and really enjoyed the brioche in that, so I was keen to do some more brioche. So a little bit intimidated is the wrong word, because I don't think we should be intimidated by knitting, but I was hesitant I suppose to do a full brioche project, but actually I got on really well with it. I learnt some techniques for fixing mistakes. I did have one ginormous mistake that made me put my knitting away back into the project bag and not pick it up for a few weeks, and then I pulled it out again today to talk to you about it, and I had another go at fixing it, and for some reason I was able to do it this time. It's not perfect. I can't remember. I think the mistake is up here somewhere. No, I can't see it. And I'm not that worried about it being absolutely perfect. I just want to have an opportunity to wear it. It still needs its ends weaving in, but as I said, I literally just finished it half an hour ago. I'm going to give it a quick soak. It won't need a block, it will just need a dry, and then I will weave the ends in and it'll be ready to wear. Oh, I just love the yarn. Just beautiful. Yeah, really lovely. Thank you, Alison, for the yarn. Thank you, Kate Athley, for a brilliant pattern. It is a really good pattern. It's a great pattern if you want to try your first brioche project. It was a free download when I found it on Ravelry. I'm not sure that it is now, but I will put a link in the show notes, and if you're interested you can go and have a look. So that's it for the shawl. I need to find another one to cast on now, and I'm not quite sure what it's going to be. So there will be a new shawl on the needles next time I podcast. The final object that I want to show you is my errata jumper. Now, last time I showed it to you, I was here, where this stitch marker is. And I have done quite a bit more on the body. I'm getting towards probably about another inch to 2 inches, and then I can start the ribbing at the hem. I really like the pattern. I'm just a little bit worried that it might be a bit small, so I think it's going to need a good block, but we will cross that bridge when we come to it. I did try it on a little while ago and it was a bit tight around here. So yeah, I think I said last time I should have gone up a needle size when I did the colour work, so that's a lesson to learn for next time. And yeah, it'll need a bit of a good block, but we'll see. The yarn I'm using is, I've got a skein of it on the floor. It's, oops, this is a bit of a messy hank, I don't know what you call this, but it's Arwetta, Phil Kalana Arwetta Classic. It's colour 812. I can't remember the name of the colour, but it's something like heathered grey. It's okay. It feels that this grey feels a little bit like a school jumper, but I guess with the colour work in, it does remove that aspect of it. Pattern is really well written. It's a pattern by Jennifer Steingass. If you are into colour work patterns, you probably recognise this as one of her designs. She has got very distinct style, and there are a number of her jumpers that I would really like to knit. So yeah, really pleased with it. I might go up a size next time I knit. Sorry, I just got cut off there. I was saying, excuse me, I was saying that I would probably go up a needle size next time I knit one of her patterns, but we will see how this blocks out. Maybe I'm being a little bit pessimistic. Right, I have just got a couple of things left that I'd like to show you. I don't often do an acquisition section, but I thought I would this time because I treated myself a week or so ago, a couple of weeks ago. Mr. B's Yarn was having an update, and I saw a collection of minis that he posted on his Instagram feed, and I thought, well, I've got to have these. These are just beautiful, and it is his Great Outdoors mini collection. Superwash merino nylon, 5 skeins, 20 grams, 85 meters. Here they are. Isn't that beautiful, beautiful combination of minis? I don't know what they'll become. I'd quite like to combine them with a neutral brown maybe, into a nice big shawl. But yeah, I'm really pleased with those. I love this one and I love that one particularly, but they are all absolutely delightful. Lovely, thank you for those. Right, what else can I show you? Have we got time to show you some other acquisitions? I went to Unravel in February. In the past I've been on the Friday with and met up with some friends. I couldn't do that this time because of work, so I went on the Sunday afternoon, and it was lovely and quiet. There was still a lot of people there, but it was didn't have to fight to get to any of the stands, so that's something to think about for next time. But I treated myself to some lovely skeins of yarn, and I think I'll just show you them because they're here. In no particular order. First one is this. This is a skein from Dusty Dimples. This is this is the first skein of Dusty Dimples that I've had. I've been meaning to buy some for a long time. Her yarn is beautiful. Her stall was absolutely stunning at the show. So this is her Dusty Sock base, and the colourway is Mozzafiato, and then in brackets afterwards it says breathtaking. There you can see. So yeah, it's a lovely lovely sort of browns, and there's the odd speckle in there. Really like that. I think that will be socks probably. I also treated myself to some of Vicky at West Green Lofts yarn. Now this is something that is a colour that you probably wouldn't expect me to pick up, but I just really liked it, and I thought it would work well in combination with another colour. So this is in Vicky's Wiggly Cashmere Luxe base, so it's an 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, and it's in the colourway Antique Gold. There's Vicky's label. It's really lovely. It's quite a, I'd say it's coming out darker, sorry, brighter on the screen than it actually is. It's quite a like a dusty colour. I'm not very good at describing yarn colourways, but yeah, it's really lovely and it's beautifully soft. So yeah, West Green Loft yarns, if you're not aware of them. Vicky has a really lovely sort of romantic palette in with her colourways, some really lovely colours. I also visited a shop that I had really been keen to visit, and when I found out that he was vending at Unravel, I was really pleased. So these, I bought 2 skeins. These are from Ted Knits, and this was Ted's first show, and by all accounts he did really well. His Instagram feed, if you don't follow him, his images of his yarn is just beautiful, and they did not disappoint in real life, and these are the 2 that I went for. So this first one, and let me show you his label first of all. So Ted Knits. And this is his Rusty Birch colourway. It's a merino nylon. And it's just, you know, it's obviously very much up my street. Some sort of coppery and greeny colours and a lovely tonal grey. And I thought that went really well with this, which is the Calabrese colourway, which is also merino nylon. And doesn't that just say cabbage to you? Really lovely tonal green. Whether I use them together or not, I don't know. I think I should, but I like them both equally on their own as well. But yeah, I can really highly recommend Ted's yarns. They are beautiful, and as I said, if you don't follow him on Instagram, then I would hop on over there and have a look. And then the final yarn that I picked up was a little bit of an indulgence. These two skeins came from the Knit With Attitude booth, and they are Norn yarns, which are they're singles yarns. It's a merino silk yak, so 65% superwash merino, 20% silk, 15% yak. Oh, I didn't realise this. You get 120 grams in a skein. And here are the two colourways that I picked out. Oh my goodness me. Aren't they just beautiful? So this one, the colourway is called Midgard Sommer. Don't know if you can see that, but it's a Norwegian yarn, so the colourways are obviously in Norwegian. And this one is the Figdefugel yarn colourway. Now I'll show it to you so you can see. I think Knit With Attitude have got these up on their website, or they certainly did when I last looked, which was a little while ago. But yeah, you can just see the sheen of the silk and just the depth that the yak gives it. Really lovely. And I do intend to use these together in a shawl, and I may well use these to design a shawl pattern of my own, but we will see. I also picked up from the Yarn Story stand these are really useful. These are needle stoppers. You just stick them on the end of your needles to stop your yarn falling off the needles. They're just lovely little squishy things. That middle bit will come out when you stick your needle through it. So yeah, that's all my acquisitions. Now, one final thing. Just want to share with you some of the bags that are still in my shop following my shop update last week. I'll also show you this. So my sheet bags have obviously been really popular over the last 2 or 3 years, and I was keen to sort of diversify the range, and I have started to introduce these lovely big tote bags. They're just plain on the reverse and the sheet print on the front. I've got these, or I had these in the 2 face print and the 1 face print, and I will definitely be bringing some more of those back into the shop. They've got 2 lovely big pockets inside and a metal magnetic closure at the top. And can we just have a look at these strap handles? These are, I don't know if it'll focus, I'm quite difficult to hold, but they're beautifully soft cotton, but got quite a firm feeling, so yeah, I really like those. Anyway, the other bags that I have got in my shop still, I just pulled a few out to show you. So we've got some small sock size, or 1 skein size. This is a lovely print with this pink-haired lady taking her dog for a walk. So I've got a couple of those left. These have been in the shop for a while. I absolutely love them, but they're not selling particularly. I've sold a few, but they are just over the wrist bags, and you pop your knitting inside and you can walk around and knit. I think they're really clever, and I've got one that I use quite a lot, but there are a couple of these in the shop at the moment. I've just pulled one of these out. I've got some needle DPN cozies, which I should really have my DPNs on, given that I dropped some stitches earlier. But these, I think I've got about 4 of these in my shop in different prints. So you just, if you've not seen these before, you pop your needles inside, pop the poppers, and your sort of sock hangs through there, and it stops the stitches falling off. There are a couple of these left, my woodland cottage bags. These are sort of 2 to 3 skein size bags. I love this print. And these have pockets inside. My 2 to 3 skein size, the large size bags all have pockets. The small sock size bags don't have pockets. And then finally, just one new fabric that I absolutely love. These aren't listed in the shop. I forgot to put these in last night, but these will be going in the shop any day now. And this is a beautiful garden bird print. Let me open it up. Garden bird print. Show you the back. It's a lovely heavyweight canvas with a plain canvas lining. This is my favourite print that I've found in a long time, and I've got a lot of this material, so I will be making lots of those bags, and in different sizes. Okay, I think that's everything. I hope I've kept it under 30 minutes, maybe just a little bit over. I will just finish by saying, as I said at the beginning, please stay well, please look after yourselves, please stay home unless you absolutely have to go out and follow whatever guidance it is that your country is offering at the moment. For us in the UK, it's unless you're an essential worker, you should be working at home if you can. I know that is problematic for some people, and that's a bit of an argument or conversation that we're having in the country at the moment. And you can go out for essential food and one form of short exercise a day, but otherwise that's it for the foreseeable future, really. The government have said they're going to review this around about Easter time, but I can't see it changing. If anything, I would envisage that maybe the restrictions will get a bit tougher. But anyway, please look after yourselves. I hope you are well, and I hope that your knitting or crafting is giving you a little bit of comfort in this time. So until I record again, take care, and I will see you soon. Bye.